The gentle hum of Estrella's cradle was Ilara's lullaby, a constant soothing whisper that vibrated through the very floor beneath her bare feet. Tonight, it felt particularly warm, like the station itself was snuggled around her. Ilara's room wasn't like the terrestrial bedrooms she'd seen in old Holovids. There were no windows, not in the traditional sense. Instead, her entire ceiling was a shimmering curved pane of stargazer glass, a smart material that could shift from opaque to utterly transparent, or even project intricate celestial maps directly onto its surface. Tonight, it was set to its default, most beloved view: the breathtaking, swirling emerald and sapphire clouds of Viridia, the gas giant around which Estrella's cradle orbited. Delicate, icy rings, like a million scattered diamonds, girdled the colossal planet, catching the distant light of its twin suns, Solora and Lumina, which were currently tucked just below Viridia's horizon, casting a soft perpetual twilight upon Estrella's cradle. Her bed, a cocoon of recycled biofibers, floated a few centimeters above the floor on a silent anti-grav field, making it feel like she was sleeping on a cloud. Beside it, a small spherical drone, no bigger than her fist, pulsed with a soft bioluminescent glow. This was Glimmer, her personal AI, a comforting presence that had been with her since she was old enough to point at the stars. "Ready for sleep, Ilara?" Glimmer's voice was a soft chime, imbued with the warmth of 1,000 gentle breezes. It floated closer, its light dimming slightly to a deep indigo, perfect for dreaming. Ilara, perched on the edge of her floating bed, her knees drawn up to her chest, shook her head, her dark curls bouncing. "Not yet, Glimmer, it's too beautiful tonight. Look at the aurora on Viridia, it's dancing." She pointed to a particularly vibrant ribbon of light that snaked across the gas giant's upper atmosphere, a cosmic ballet of ionized particles. Glimmer rotated, its optical sensor array zooming in, projecting a magnified holographic image of the phenomenon onto the wall opposite Ilara's bed. "Indeed," Glimmer chimed. "The solar winds from Lumina are particularly active tonight." Dr. Reel noted a significant surge in their flux readings. Ilara smiled. Dr. Reel was her mother, Anya. Anya was the lead astrophysicist on Estrella's cradle, a brilliant woman whose mind was as vast and intricate as the cosmos she studied. Ilara knew her mother was busy, always charting new nebulae, analyzing distant exoplanet atmospheres, or fine-tuning the station's deep space telescopes. But she always made time for Ilara. A soft chime sounded from the door panel, and the seamless white wall slid open with a whisper. Anya Reel stood there, her lab coat unbuttoned, revealing a comfortable jumpsuit beneath. Her dark hair, just like Ilara's, was pulled back in a practical braid, but a few strands had escaped, framing a face softened by a tired smile. "Still awake, my little stargazer?" Anya's voice was a melodic counterpoint to Glimmer's chimes. She stepped into the room, and the comforting scent of ozone, and something faintly herbal, Anya's favorite tea, filled the air. Ilara launched herself off the bed, floating gently to the floor before scampering into her mother's waiting arms. Anya hugged her tightly, the warmth of her embrace chasing away any lingering chill from the vastness outside. "Glimmer says the aurora is dancing because of Lumina's solar winds," Ilara mumbled into her mother's shoulder. Anya chuckled, stroking Ilara's hair. "Glimmer is correct, as always. Lumina is a lively star, full of surprises, just like some little girls I know." She winked, then pulled away slightly, holding Ilara at arm's length. "But even the liveliest stars need their rest. Did you brush your teeth with the sonic polisher?" Ilara nodded emphatically. "And I set my Dreamweaver for a journey through the nebula of whispers." Anya smiled. The Dreamweaver was a small device Ilara wore on her wrist, designed to gently guide her dreams into pleasant, imaginative journeys. It wasn't true virtual reality, but a subtle neurostimulant that enhanced the natural dream state. "Excellent," Anya said, guiding Ilara back to her bed. "Then all that's left is our story." Ilara scrambled into her bed, pulling the soft biofiber blanket up to her chin. Glimmer dimmed further, casting the room in a soft ethereal glow that made the swirling clouds of viridia on the stargazer glass ceiling seem even more vibrant. Anya sat on the edge of Elara's bed, her presence grounding and warm. "Tonight," she began, her voice dropping to a soothing murmur, "I'll tell you about the Stardust nomads. Do you remember them?" Elara nodded, her eyes wide. "They were the first ones to leave old Earth, right? In the really, really old times?" "That's right," Anya affirmed. "Long before Estrella's cradle, long before we even discovered Viridia, humanity looked up at the night sky and dreamed. And some of them, the bravest and most curious, decided to follow those dreams. They built great ships, not like our sleek research vessels, but magnificent, sprawling cities on wings, powered by the very starlight they chased." Anya's voice wove magic, painting pictures in Elara's mind. She imagined colossal ships, glittering like jewels, sailing through the black sea of space, their inhabitants living out their lives under artificial suns, never knowing a planetary surface. "They were called the Stardust nomads," Anya continued, "because they believed that every particle of starlight carried a piece of ancient wisdom, a memory of the universe itself. And they tried to collect it, to understand its secrets. They had special devices, called whisper catchers, that could draw in the faintest echoes of distant stars. And they would sift through these echoes, hoping to find messages, patterns, or clues to the universe's biggest mystery." Elara listened intently, her gaze drifting from her mother's face to the stargazer glass. She often wondered about the stardust her mother talked about. Not the kind that drifted from broken comets, but the ethereal, almost magical stardust of the nomads' tales. "But the most precious stardust," Anya said, her voice dropping to an almost whisper, "was something only a few rare souls could truly perceive. It wasn't physical dust. It was pure cosmic energy, tiny motes of light that pulsed with the very breath of creation. They called it ethyl dust, and it was said to carry the blueprint of everything, from the smallest atom to the grandest galaxy." Elara's heart gave a little flutter. She knew about ethyl dust. Not from stories, not really. She knew about it from feeling it. Her mother finished the story, recounting how the Stardust nomads eventually found new homes among the stars, scattering humanity across the cosmos like... Anya kissed Elara's forehead, her lips warm. "Now, close your eyes, my little star, and dream of all the wonders waiting for you." Anya slipped out of the room, and glimmer resumed its full, gentle indigo glow. Elara lay still for a moment, listening to the hum of the station, the distant murmur of her mother's voice talking to a colleague over the comlink. But Elara didn't close her eyes. Not yet. She reached beneath her bed, her fingers closing around a smooth, cool object. It was a small, ornate jar, made of polished, iridescent crystal. It wasn't one of Anya's scientific instruments. It was something Elara had found in a storage compartment, a forgotten relic from an earlier era of Estrella's cradle. To anyone else, it looked empty. But to Elara it was not. She held the jar up, letting the faint indigo light of glimmer fall upon it. And then, she focused. Elara closed her eyes for a moment, not to sleep, but to feeling. She reached out with something inside her, a quiet, almost electric tingling that started in her chest and spread outwards, connecting her to the vastness beyond a stargazer glass. She took a deep breath, and when she opened her eyes again, the jar was no longer empty. Tiny, shimmering motes of light, like miniature fireflies, danced within the crystal. They were so faint, so delicate, that Glimmer couldn't detect them, and her mother wouldn't see them even if she looked directly. But Elara could. She could see them, and she could feel them. This was her ethyl dust. Her stardust. It didn't come from anywhere specific. It simply appeared when she was quiet, when she was connected, when she listened to the universe with her whole being. Sometimes a particularly bright cluster would drift in through the stargazer glass, seemingly from the very heart of Viridia's auroras, or from a sudden burst of energy from the distant twin suns. Tonight, the motes were particularly agitated, swirling and coalescing into intricate, fleeting patterns. Elara felt a peculiar pull, a sense of anticipation she couldn't quite name. It was as if the stardust itself was excited. She carefully unscrewed the lid of the jar, a faint, sweet, metallic scent wafting out. The motes immediately began to drift upwards, shimmering trails following their ascent, like tiny cosmic dancers leaving glitter in their wake. They didn't float far, only a few inches above the jar, forming a miniature galaxy of light. Elara extended a finger, hovering it just above the swirling motes. They responded, coalescing around her fingertip, forming a tiny, glowing ring. A smile touched her lips. She could almost hear them, a symphony of whispers too subtle for human ears, but perfectly clear to her. She looked up at the stargazer glass. Viridia was still magnificent, its auroras still dancing. But Elara felt a yearning to see beyond it, beyond the familiar, vibrant gas giant. "Glimmer," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Can you show me the deepest view? Past Viridia, past the Kuiper cloud." Glimmer paused, its indigo light pulsing thoughtfully. "The deep space array is currently focused on the Andromeda convergence, Elara. That is several light years beyond our current position, and past the usual parameters for an evening display." "Please," Elara insisted, her eyes fixed on the motes dancing above her stardust jar. They seemed to be urging her on. "Just for a moment, I feel like there's something out there tonight." Glimmer, programmed to prioritize Elara's comfort and curiosity within safe parameters, shifted its glow to a soft, inquisitive green. "Query. Something out there?" Elara shook her head. "I don't know. Just a feeling. Like a whisper, but bigger than the whispers in my jar, like the universe is trying to tell me something." Glimmer processed her words. Sensory input for whisper from the universe is not detected by station instrumentation. However, displaying deep space array feed is within safety parameters. The stargazer glass ceiling flickered, the vibrant greens and blues of Viridia fading, replaced by an inky blackness, pinpricked with countless stars. It was the raw, unfiltered view of deep space, a humbling, breathtaking tapestry of distant galaxies, nebulae, and stellar nurseries. It was a view Elara rarely saw, usually reserved for her mother's research. The motes of ethyl dust above her jar pulsed brighter, swirling faster, like tiny compass needles orienting themselves. Elara watched them, then looked up at the vast expanse of the ceiling. Her gaze drifted across the familiar constellations, the faint spiral arms of distant galaxies, the shimmering dust lanes of a newborn star system. And then, she saw it. It wasn't a star or a planet or even a nebula. It was a faint, almost imperceptible shimmer, barely distinguishable from the background stellar noise. It was a whisper, just as she had felt. A fleeting, ethereal spark of light appearing and disappearing in the blink of an eye, far out in the cosmic void. It was too distant to be a ship, too ephemeral to be a natural phenomenon her mother would have charted. The motes in her jar flared, a synchronized burst of light, and then streamed directly towards the spot on the stargazer glass where she had seen the shimmer. They didn't hit the glass, but hovered just beneath it, pulsating in unison, as if trying to point to guide. Elara gasped softly. "There, Glimmer, do you see it?" Glimmer's green light intensified. Analyzing visual input. No anomalies detected by station telescopes at those coordinates. Visual data appears consistent with background cosmic radiation fluctuations. "But I see it," Elara insisted, her voice filled with a child's conviction. "And my stardust sees it too." She pointed to the motes, which were now forming a clear luminous arrow pointing straight at the shimmering spot. Glimmer rotated, its sensors whirring, trying to reconcile Elara's perception with its own data. "Elara, your stardust is a unique phenomenon, not registered by conventional sensors. However, your visual acuity often perceives nuances beyond standard instrumentation." That was Glimmer's polite way of saying, Elara saw things no one else did. Anya called it heightened cosmic sensitivity, a rare genetic trait that allowed Elara to perceive subtle energy fluctuations that were invisible to others. Anya often wondered if it was a throwback to the stardust nomads of old. Elara focused, her brow furrowed in concentration. The shimmer on the stargazer glass wasn't just appearing and disappearing now. It was forming a pattern. A sequence of flashes, like a silent, distant code. Flash. Pause. Flash, flash. Pause. Flash. It was too quick, too faint to truly grasp. But the ethyl dust in her jar was mirroring it perfectly, flashing and dimming, swirling into miniature symbols that danced just above the crystal. "It's a message," Elara whispered, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and wonder. "It's trying to say something." She reached for a small smooth slate on her bedside table, a personal datapad she used for drawing. With her other hand, she guided the motes of stardust with her fingertip. They responded, forming a single clear symbol in the air above the jar. It was an elongated oval, with 3 smaller circles inside, arranged in a triangular pattern. Elara quickly sketched it onto her slate. Then, the stardust shifted, forming another symbol, a series of concentric rings, like a target, with a single dot in the center. She drew that too. The distant shimmer on the stargazer glass flickered one last time, a final burst of light, and then faded completely, swallowed by the immensity of space. The motes in her jar, however, continued to pulse, forming the 2 symbols over and over, as if trying to imprint them into Elara's mind. Elara stared at her slate, then at the now empty black expanse of the ceiling. The message was gone. But she had it. 2 symbols drawn in light given to her by the stardust itself. "Glimmer," Elara breathed, her voice filled with awe. "What do these mean?" Glimmer's light shifted to a perplexed yellow. Query. "Symbols. My optical sensors did not detect any coherent patterns from the deep space array feed, Elara. Only random fluctuations." Elara looked down at her sketches, then back at the stardust, which had now settled back into a gentle shimmering swirl within the jar. They had done their work. They had delivered the message. She felt a profound sense of connection, a tingling thread stretching from her tiny room in Astrea's cradle, across the vastness of space, to whatever mysterious source had sent that silent, distant signal. "Gotcha." "It's okay, Glimmer," Elara said, a determined glint in her eyes. "I'll figure it out." She carefully screwed the lid back onto her stardust jar, holding it close to her chest. The motes continued their soft, internal dance, a secret universe contained within crystal. Elara snuggled into her bed, pulling the blanket up high. The stargazer glass ceiling had reverted to the soothing familiar view of Viridia, its emerald and sapphire clouds now gently swirling, like a cosmic ocean. But Elara knew. She knew there was more out there. She closed her eyes, clutching the jar tightly, the cool crystal a comforting weight against her. The symbols she had drawn burned brightly in her mind, a puzzle given to her by the stars. Tonight, her dreamweaver wouldn't just take her to the nebula of whispers. It would take her on a journey to decode the Stardust's secret, to understand the message from the deep, vast unknown. And as she drifted into sleep, the soft hum of Astrea's cradle her lullaby, Elara could almost feel the shimmering motes of stardust whispering secrets, guiding her towards an adventure that had just begun. The gentle hum of Astrea's cradle faded into a deeper, more resonant thrum, a sound that wasn't heard with her ears but felt deep within her very being. Elara didn't open her eyes, but she knew she was no longer in her cozy room. The soft pressure of her bed was replaced by a boundless, weightless suspension. She was drifting, a single, conscious spark in an ocean of swirling light and shadow. Then, the nebula of whispers unfolded around her. It wasn't a static image, but a living, breathing tapestry, woven from starlight and cosmic dust. Great rivers of sapphire and amethyst gas flowed past, their edges blurring into fields of shimmering gold and crimson. Nebulae weren't just clouds. They were vast, intricate structures, like the branches of cosmic trees, each leaf a distant star, each petal a nascent solar system. The whispers were not voices, but a symphony of light and vibration. Every mote of dust, every tendril of gas, pulsed with an almost imperceptible energy, carrying information, stories, echoes of ancient events. It was like standing in a colossal library, where the books weren't made of paper but of pure light, and their words were silent, resonant frequencies. Elara felt a gentle pressure against her mind, like a million tiny hands reaching out, not to grasp, but to share. She remembered the symbols, the ones she had carefully etched onto her arm and into her memory. They had burned brightly in her mind just moments ago, a map to an unknown treasure. Now, in this boundless dreamscape, they began to shimmer, not on her skin, but as luminous patterns forming and dissolving in the space around her. They were like a key, glowing in the vast lock of the cosmos. One symbol, a swirling spiral with a single central dot, pulsed with a soft, warm light. Elara focused on it, letting her mind reach out, guided by an instinct she didn't know she possessed. As she did, a section of the nebula directly ahead of her seemed to respond. The swirling sapphire gas there intensified, mimicking the spiral, growing brighter, more defined. It wasn't just a coincidence, it was an echo, a direct answer. Encouraged, Elara focused on another symbol, 3 parallel wavy lines. Immediately, 3 parallel currents of energy, previously invisible, materialized in the sapphire spiral, flowing through its depths like liquid light. They pulsed with a rhythmic beat, a silent song that resonated with a forgotten melody deep within her. The Stardust, she realized, wasn't just sending a message, it was responding to her. It was a cosmic dialogue, and her symbols were the language. She began to experiment, moving her focus from one symbol to another, sometimes combining them. A symbol of a radiating starburst caused a burst of golden light to erupt from the heart of the sapphire spiral. A symbol depicting a gentle curve brought forth a delicate arc of iridescent mist, connecting the starburst to the wavy lines. It was like conducting an orchestra of light and matter, each gesture of her mind creating a breathtaking visual and energetic response. The whispers intensified, no longer a general hum, but a directed current. It felt like the nebula itself was guiding her, showing her how to wield this new language. As she combined the symbols, the nebula began to coalesce, forming more complex structures. The sapphire spiral deepened, its colors shifting through indigo and violet. The golden starburst became a miniature sun, casting intricate shadows. The wavy lines transformed into pathways, inviting her deeper. A sense of profound wonder filled Elara. This was more than just decoding a message, it was interacting with the very fabric of existence. The Stardust wasn't just a passive medium, it was an active participant, a vast sentient network waiting to be engaged. The symbols were not just arbitrary drawings, they were universal archetypes, keys to unlocking cosmic understanding. As she continued to weave the symbols, focusing on their interplay, a central form began to emerge within the heart of the sapphire spiral. It wasn't a solid object, but a living sculpture of light and shadow, constantly shifting, yet maintaining an underlying structure. It reminded her of an ancient, gnarled tree, but instead of leaves, it bore delicate, crystalline blossoms that pulsed with an inner luminescence. These blossoms were echo blooms, she instinctively knew, born from the energy of the whispers and her interaction with them. Each bloom hummed with a different frequency, a unique facet of the nebula's vast consciousness. One particular echo bloom, larger and more vibrant than the others, drew her attention. It pulsed with an emerald light, and within its translucent petals, Elara could discern faint, constantly shifting patterns. They were the same symbols she had drawn, but in a more complex, interwoven sequence. This wasn't just a response, it was a deeper message, presented back to her through the nebula's own interpretation. She focused on the emerald echo bloom, letting her consciousness merge with its gentle thrum. Immediately, the symbols within it began to animate, spinning and rearranging themselves, forming a dynamic tapestry of meaning. It was like watching a cosmic Rosetta Stone unfold before her eyes. The first sequence translated into a feeling, a deep, resonant understanding of connection. It spoke of origins, of all matter being born from the same cosmic crucible, of stars and planets and living beings all sharing a common ancestry in the Stardust. We are woven from the same light, the message seemed to convey, not in words but in a cascade of pure insight that filled her mind with warmth and belonging. Then, the symbols shifted, and a new layer of understanding emerged. This sequence spoke of time, not as a linear progression, but as an ever-present now, where past, present and future were intertwined like threads in a grand tapestry. The Stardust, it revealed, held echoes of all moments, a living memory of the universe. It was a vast, timeless archive, and the symbols were the keys to navigating its endless halls. Elara felt a thrill of discovery. Her mother had always told her stories of ancient civilizations that sought wisdom in the stars, but this was more profound than any myth. This was direct communion. She wasn't just observing, she was participating. The symbols then began to detail a grander purpose. They spoke of cosmic threads, invisible currents of information and energy that connect distant galaxies, linking sentient minds across unimaginable distances. The stardust she had found was not just a random fragment, it was a single tiny knot in one of these cosmic threads, a lost piece of a universal communication network. The message it carried was an invitation, a call to re-establish connection, to mend the frayed ends of these ancient threads. The echo bloom pulsed with increasing intensity, its emerald light deepening. The symbols within it now formed a complex three-dimensional pattern, a swirling vortex of light that seemed to draw her in. This wasn't just a message about the cosmic threads, it was a cosmic thread, a direct conduit to something vast and ancient. As Elara leaned into this energetic vortex, she felt herself pulled forward, not physically, but as if her consciousness were being gently stretched and guided. The sapphire spiral of the nebula of whispers began to recede, not disappearing, but becoming a shimmering gateway behind her. She was moving through a channel of pure light, a tunnel of shimmering, interwoven symbols that echoed the patterns of the echo bloom. The journey was swift and exhilarating, a silent flight through realms of pure information. She saw fleeting glimpses of other nebulae, each with its own unique energetic signature, its own symphony of whispers. She felt the presence of other minds, vast and ancient, like distant stars, their thoughts radiating across the cosmic threads. They weren't speaking in words, but in patterns of light and emotion, in concepts too grand for language. Finally, the tunnel of light expanded, and Elara found herself in a new space, still within the dream, but profoundly different from the nebula of whispers. This wasn't a cloud of gas and dust, it was a structured realm, built from pure energy. Imagine a city, but instead of buildings there were colossal crystalline spires that pulsed with light, each spire a conduit for a cosmic thread. Imagine a tapestry, but one woven from pure thought, its threads humming with information from across the cosmos. At the heart of this realm stood a magnificent swirling construct of light and color. It was immense, reaching beyond her perception, yet perfectly comprehensible. It was the cosmic loom, the central nexus of the cosmic threads, the source from which all information flowed, and to which all knowledge returned. The stardust Elara had found was a tiny fragment of this loom, a single, fallen thread. The symbols on her mind, the ones that had guided her through the nebula of whispers, now rearranged themselves, forming a new, more complex pattern at the forefront of her awareness. This new pattern wasn't just a key, it was a question, an offering, a way to interact directly with the cosmic loom. As she focused on this new symbolic sequence, a section of the cosmic loom, directly before her, began to respond. It pulsed with a soft, inviting light, and from its depths, a shimmering, translucent form began to emerge. It was not a creature of flesh and blood, but a being of pure light and energy, constantly shifting, yet holding a graceful, humanoid silhouette. Its eyes were like miniature galaxies, swirling with starlight and wisdom. This was an echo weaver, a guardian of the cosmic loom, a consciousness born from the interwoven threads themselves. The echo weaver did not speak with a voice, but communicated directly with Elara's mind, a gentle flow of understanding that bypassed words. "Welcome, young waver," its presence resonated. "You have found a fallen thread and followed its call. You have listened to the whispers and understood their song." Elara felt a sense of awe, but also an unexpected comfort. There was no judgment, only profound acceptance and curiosity in the echo weaver's presence. She felt like she had come home, to a place she had never known existed, yet had always longed for. The echo weaver then projected a vision into her mind, a panoramic view of the universe, dotted with countless stars and galaxies. It showed her the cosmic threads, spanning the immense distances, connecting pockets of life and consciousness. But it also showed her gaps, places where threads were broken, or where communication had ceased. These gaps were not dark voids, but simply silent spaces, waiting for connection to be re-established. The stardust you found, the Echo Weaver conveyed a fragment of a greater purpose. It is a seed of reconnection. The symbols you carry are the patterns by which new threads can be spun, by which old connections can be restored. You possess the innate ability to mend the loom, to weave anew. To weave anew. Elara understood. This wasn't just about decoding a single message, it was about participating in a vast, ongoing cosmic dialogue. Her unique ability to draw the symbols, her connection to her Dreamweaver, and her father's understanding of energetic resonance, it all intertwined into a singular purpose. She was meant to be a bridge, a translator, a new weaver in the grand cosmic tapestry. The Echo Weaver then showed her another set of symbols, far more intricate than any she had encountered before. These were not just keys to understanding, but blueprints for creation, patterns that could resonate with the cosmic loom itself and mend the broken threads. They pulsed with a vibrant living energy, hinting at complex interactions and profound transformations. The journey has just begun, young weaver, the Echo Weaver communicated, its light intensifying. This night, you have taken the first step, you have learned to listen, to respond, to engage. But the loom is vast, and its threads are many. There are more whispers to hear, more patterns to learn, more connections to forge, more connections to forge. A gentle pull began to draw Elara away from the cosmic loom, away from the luminous presence of the Echo Weaver. She knew it was the Dreamweaver, gently guiding her back towards waking, ensuring she didn't lose herself in the boundless depths of the cosmic dream. The Echo Weaver's light softened, its form becoming less defined, yet its message resonated clearly in her heart. Return, when the stardust calls again. The universe awaits your touch. As she drifted back through the tunnel of light, through the receding sapphire spiral of the nebula of whispers, the new, intricate symbols that the Echo Weaver had shown her began to imprint themselves onto her mind, not as rigid patterns, but as fluid, living energies. They were complex, challenging, yet filled with an undeniable promise of wonder. The gentle hum of Estrella's cradle began to reassert itself, growing louder, warmer, more familiar. The weightless suspension gave way to the soft embrace of her bed. The vast, swirling colors of the nebula faded, replaced by the comforting darkness of her room. Elara felt a profound sense of exhilaration and purpose, but also a deep calm. She hadn't decoded everything, not by a long shot. The Stardust's secret was far vaster, and more intricate than she had ever imagined. But she had taken the first step. She had found a guide, glimpsed the cosmic loom, and understood her role. The symbols on her arm, though invisible in the waking world, now felt like a living map etched onto her soul, guiding her towards the next adventure. As the first hint of dawn began to paint the sky outside her window with soft hues of violet and rose, Elara opened her eyes. The room was still dim, but it felt different, imbued with the echoes of her dream. She knew, with absolute certainty, that tonight was just the beginning. The stardust would whisper again, and she would be ready. There were more threads to find, more connections to make, and a universe waiting to be rewoven. Her small apartment, nestled high within the crystalline spire of Neoviridia, felt alive with a subtle hum she hadn't noticed before. Elara swung her legs over the side of her bed, her bare feet meeting the cool, self-cleaning polymers of the floor. The soft light of her bedside luminary, attuned to her circadian rhythm, brightened perceptibly as she moved. "Good morning, Elara," a warm, synthesized voice chimed from the ceiling. It was Nova, her personal sentient AI home assistant. Sleep cycles indicate a period of elevated neural activity. Dream recall is estimated at 87%. Elara smiled, a secret smile that didn't quite reach her lips. "Higher than usual, Nova, much higher." She walked towards the panoramic window, where the city sprawled beneath her like a jewel-encrusted circuit board. Sky lanes hummed with silent hover vehicles, and maintenance drones, glinting like metallic insects, darted between the towering structures. The violet and rose dawn had deepened into a brilliant gold, painting the clouds in streaks of fire. She stretched, feeling a peculiar lightness in her limbs. The dream hadn't just been a memory, it was a blueprint, a whisper of a promise. She felt the lingering sensation of the stardust on her fingertips, a phantom tingle. The universe wasn't just out there, an abstract concept of distant stars and galaxies. It was here, within her, waiting to be rediscovered. "Elara, breakfast protocols initiated," Nova announced. "NutriPast synthesis complete. Standard protein omega, blend with an added boost of dream recall enhancers, per your recent sleep data." "Thanks, Nova," Elara mumbled, already halfway to the small kitchen alcove. Her breakfast, a perfectly sculpted sphere of vibrant green paste, hovered gently above her countertop on a small grav plate. It tasted faintly of berries and sunshine, a testament to the advanced biosynthesis techniques that had rendered natural farming almost obsolete. As she ate, she swiped a hand through the air, activating her personal comm screen. Holographic news feeds flickered into existence. Updates on the Mars terraforming project, a new breakthrough in faster-than-light travel theory, and a debate about the ethical implications of sentient AI rights. Her parents, both xenobotanists stationed on the burgeoning agricultural domes of Ganymede, would be waking up soon, their day just beginning as hers was well underway. She sent them a quick, pre-programmed good morning, love you message, knowing it would ping their comms at their local sunrise. Her gaze drifted past the news feeds, drawn to a section of her screen dedicated to historical archives. Usually she'd ignore it, preferring to delve into current events or educational modules. But today, the word ancient seemed to resonate with the Stardust's echo. Threads to find, connections to make. What if those threads were woven into the past? After breakfast, Elara powered up her learning terminal. Her lessons for the day included advanced astrogation theory and simulated zero-gravity engineering. Today, however, her focus felt fractured. While her virtual instructor, a serene AI named Professor Xylos, lectured on warp field harmonics, Elara's fingers danced across her personal datapad, searching. "Oh, Professor Xylos," she interjected, a question forming on her lips during the great silence before the first expansion. Was there any record of anomalous energy signatures or unexplained disappearances? Professor Xylos paused, its holographic form shimmering slightly. "An interesting deviation, Elara. The Great Silence, as you know, refers to the period prior to unified interstellar travel, when humanity believed itself alone. Records from that era often fragmented, but yes, there were numerous folk tales, proto-scientific theories, and even some recorded energy spikes that defy conventional explanation. Most were later attributed to atmospheric phenomena, early satellite malfunctions." Elara hesitated. How could she explain a dream vision of stardust and cosmic reweaving? "Just curiosity, Professor. I was reading about the ancient myth of the cosmic loom, and it made me wonder." Professor Xylos nodded slowly. "Ah, the cosmic loom. A fascinating allegory for the interconnectedness of existence. It posited that all reality was spun from luminous threads, maintained by unseen weavers. While charming, it remains firmly in the realm of mythology. However, if you are interested, I can access some non-canon supplementary materials related to such ancient beliefs." "Please, Professor, that would be very helpful." As Professor Xylos continued the lesson, a small data packet materialized on Elara's datapad. It contained scanned texts from Forgotten Earth libraries, early digital archives, and even some cryptic symbols from pre-spacefaring cultures. She skimmed through them, her heart thrumming with a quiet urgency. Most of it was indeed mythology, creation stories, tales of sky gods, prophecies of cosmic cycles. But then, a phrase leaped out at her from a faded digital scroll. "Why the weavers of light, who spun the stars into being, and left fragments of their loom scattered across the void, awaiting the return. Once, fragments of their loom, waning the stardust." The connections, a thrill, electric and profound, shot through her. This wasn't just a bedtime story. This was history. Or a forgotten truth. Throughout the day, even as she navigated her physics simulations and practiced her Martian dialect lessons, Elara kept one eye on the data packet. During her lunch break, while other kids chatted about hoverboard races and the latest virtual reality immersive, Elara sequestered herself in a quiet corner of the communal recreation chamber, her datapad glowing softly. She delved deeper into the cosmic loom lore. It spoke of certain individuals, throughout history, who were said to be touched by starlight, capable of perceiving the threads of the loom. These individuals often experienced vivid dreams, moments of profound intuition, or even manifested minor psionic abilities. They were called the Thread Seekers. Elara's breath hitched. Thread Seekers. It felt like a name whispered directly to her from the heart of her dream. She cross-referenced the term with anomalous energy signatures and unexplained disappearances. The results were sparse, often dismissed as hoaxes or misinterpretations. But a pattern began to emerge. Certain geographical locations on ancient Earth, later sites of unexplained energy fluctuations or strange atmospheric phenomena, were also mentioned in the cosmic loom myths as places where the threads were thin or gateways to the loom existed. One name kept reappearing, the shimmering veil, an ancient term for a region of space, far beyond humanity's current exploration boundaries, where telescopes always reported strange distortions, impossible colors, and fluctuating gravitational fields. It was considered a natural cosmic anomaly, a beautiful but unnavigable region. But what if it wasn't an anomaly? What if it was a destination? Elara spent the rest of the afternoon in a flurry of research. She accessed restricted files, not through illicit means, but by leveraging her advanced academic standing and a cleverly worded query to Nova, framing it as an interdisciplinary historical research project. Nova, ever diligent, provided access, flagging the data as highly speculative and unverified. She found references to loom fragments, not physical objects, but concentrated pockets of a unique energy signature, theorized to be remnants of a pre-universal construct. These fragments were supposedly scattered across the cosmos, each one a knot in the cosmic loom, holding a piece of the universe's foundational fabric. If enough were reconnected, the myths claimed, the universe could be rewoven, perhaps even repaired or reshaped. Repaired? Either thought sent a shiver down her spine. Had something broken? Her dream hinted at a universe needing to be rewoven, not just discovered. What kind of cosmic damage could even exist? She found an obscure scientific paper, written centuries ago by a renegade astrophysicist, hypothesizing about a great dispersal event, a theoretical cataclysm that shattered the original fabric of reality, scattering its fundamental components. The paper was widely ridiculed, and eventually suppressed, but Elara felt a profound resonance with its wild claims. It aligned perfectly with the idea of a universe needing to be rewoven. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the city in shades of deep indigo and neon, Elara was hunched over her terminal, surrounded by holographic projections of ancient star charts and energy signature maps. Her room felt less like a quiet sanctuary and more like a command center. She traced a finger across a projection of the Milky Way, following the faint, almost imperceptible lines that connected the loom fragment locations. They formed a complex, beautiful but broken pattern, a cosmic circuit board with many missing connections. Nova, Elara whispered, can you cross-reference these loom fragment coordinates with any known derelict space stations or abandoned deep space probes? A moment of processing silence. Query initiated. Processing. Results are highly speculative, Elara. There are a few instances where derelict probes, particularly those from the early Deep Space Initiative, drifted into proximity with theorized loom fragment locations. However, all such probes ceased transmission shortly thereafter, presumed lost or destroyed by cosmic radiation. Were there any specific anomalies reported before they went silent? One instance stands out. Probe designated Pathfinder 7, launched nearly 3 centuries ago, reported an unprecedented energy surges and localized space-time distortion just prior to transmission loss, in the vicinity of what is now designated Loom Fragment Sector Gamma 7. Its last recorded message was a single, fragmented word, shimmer. Shimmering veil, Elara breathed. It was all coming together. The scattered fragments, the ancient myths, the lost probes, the very energy that pulsed through her soul. Exhaustion tugged at her, but her mind raced. She felt the stardust stirring within her again, a warmth spreading from her chest. The room began to subtly change. The ambient light dimmed further, and then, impossibly, tiny motes of shimmering light began to appear in the air around her. They swirled, catching the faint glow of her holographic displays, dancing like miniature stars. Elara stared, her eyes wide with wonder. It wasn't just a dream anymore. The stardust was here, in her room, a tangible manifestation of the dream's power. It coalesced, forming delicate, intricate patterns in the air, swirling around her head like a crown of living light. A soft hum filled the room, growing in intensity. It wasn't Nova's usual hum, but something deeper, harmonic, resonating with the very core of her being. The shimmering motes began to weave themselves into a larger, more coherent image directly in front of her. It was a star map, but unlike any she had seen. It focused on a single, distant star system, one she recognized from her research as the location of Loom Fragment, Sector Gamma 7. But now, it wasn't just a sterile set of coordinates. The Stardust map showed intricate pathways, glowing like veins of pure energy, leading from the fragment towards a cluster of derelict, half-destroyed structures orbiting a gas giant. One of them, larger than the others, looked eerily like the ancient Pathfinder 7 probe, but vastly expanded, almost merged with something organic and crystalline. Then, the vision shifted. She was no longer just observing. She was ithering. The cold vacuum of space pressed in around her, yet she felt no fear, no discomfort. She was floating amidst the debris of what looked like a shattered starship, its hull ripped open, its internal components exposed to the void. But this was no ordinary wreckage. Parts of the ship glowed with the same internal starlight she carried within her, and strange crystalline growths snaked across its metallic skeleton. She drifted closer to the largest structure, the merged Pathfinder 7. It was enormous, a fusion of advanced human technology and something utterly alien. The crystalline growths pulsed with soft, multicolored light, and through the transparent sections of the hull, she could see a vast, intricate network of what looked like shimmering threads stretched taut across immense, empty chambers. They pulsed, almost breathing, with the same energy as the stardust. Tilum? Wanina. And then, she saw it. At the very heart of the structure, where the most threads converged, was a single dark void. It wasn't empty space. It was an absence, a gaping hole where the fabric of reality seemed to have been torn away. From this void radiated a faint, mournful hum that resonated with a deep ache in her soul. This was the wound. This was what needed to be repaired. As she watched, a figure began to coalesce within the stardust vision. It was not a person, but a being of pure light and shadow, ethereal and ancient. It had no discernible features, yet Elara felt a profound sense of wisdom and gentle sadness emanating from it. It reached out a hand, not to her, but towards the void, as if trying to mend it. As its hand passed through the tear, a single brilliant thread of light, like those she carried, snapped and dissolved into nothingness. The being recoiled, its form flickering, and a silent sigh seemed to echo through the void. Then, the being turned its gaze towards her. Though it had no eyes, Elara felt its presence, its ancient understanding, pierce through her. It wasn't angry or demanding but pleading. It communicated not with words but with images and feelings, the universe as a tapestry, unraveling strand by strand, the great dispersal, a cosmic wound, the fragmented loom, waiting to be reconnected. And then, a direct instruction, clear as a bell, though still unspoken. You have the spark. You must find the others. They are scattered, like the fragments. Reconnect the knots. Repair the loom. Inda. The vision intensified, focusing now on a small, unassuming device embedded in the side of the crystalline Pathfinder 7 structure. It was a key, shaped like a stylized star, glowing faintly. It looked like something from an ancient Earth legend, yet it pulsed with cosmic energy. This is a conduit. It will guide you to the first knot. It will awaken the others. Nyawinda. The being of light faded, and the vision began to recede. The shimmering motes in her room started to disperse, swirling back into the air. The faint hum subsided. Elara blinked, finding herself back in her room, the holographic star charts still glowing around her, but now imbued with a new, profound significance. The stardust was gone, but the feeling remained, etched onto her soul, guiding her towards the next adventure. She took a deep, shaky breath, her heart pounding not with fear, but with an exhilarating sense of destiny. The universe wasn't just waiting to be rewoven. It was waiting for her. And she knew with absolute certainty that she had to answer its call. The loom needed her, and she would find the star key, she would find the others, and she would begin to reweave the cosmic tapestry. Her journey, she now understood, was only just beginning. Elara didn't hesitate. Her small, unassuming scout ship, Wanderer, felt like an extension of her own will as she guided it away from the shimmering cosmic anomaly that had revealed her destiny. The loom had whispered secrets onto her soul, but it had also imprinted a direction, a faint, almost imperceptible magnetic pull towards a distant forgotten sector. A sector rumored to hold echoes of ancient primordial energies. Her journey began with silence. Days blurred into weeks as the Wanderer cut through the interstellar void, its quantum drive humming a low, steady lullaby. Elara spent her time studying the cosmic charts, cross-referencing ancient star maps downloaded from obscure archival networks. The whispers of the loom grew stronger with each passing light year, manifesting not as audible words, but as flashes of insight, sudden leaps of intuition that guided her navigation and data analysis. She learned to trust these impulses, to feel the universe guiding her hand. The destination was a place known only as the Whispering Nebula, a vast, swirling cloud of cosmic dust and gas, notable for its strangely coherent, almost crystalline structure. Legend claimed it was a graveyard of stars, a place where reality itself sometimes frayed at the edges. Perfect, Elara thought, for something as significant as a star key. Navigating the nebula was like threading a needle through a storm of starlight. Gaseous tendrils, thick with unformed stellar matter, coiled around the Wanderer, creating disorienting visual illusions. Gravitational anomalies tugged at the ship, but Elara held firm, her focus absolute. The loom's guidance was a steady pulse within her, a compass needle pointing true north through the cosmic chaos. Deep within the nebula, where the light of distant stars was muted to a perpetual twilight, she found it. Not a planet, not a station, but a colossal crystalline structure, like a shattered diamond floating amidst the dust. It hummed with an energy that resonated with the very core of her being. As if the Wanderer approached, the crystals began to glow, responding to her presence. She donned her environmental suit and piloted a small shuttle from the main ship's bay, docking with a shimmering aperture that seemed to open just for her. Inside, the air was still, tasting faintly of ozone and ancient starlight. Luminescent vines pulsed within the crystal walls, casting long, dancing shadows. In the heart of the structure, suspended by unseen forces, was the star key. It wasn't a key in the traditional sense. It was a swirling vortex of concentrated starlight, held within a delicate, intricate lattice of pure energy. It pulsed with a gentle, rhythmic beat, like a cosmic heart. As Elara reached out, a single strand of light detached from the vortex, flowing towards her hand. It settled, not in her hand, but around it, forming an ethereal gauntlet that pulsed with warmth and power. This was the star key. With the key now bound to her, the whispers of the loom surged into a symphony. Images flooded her mind, vast vibrant threads of cosmic energy, twisting and tangling, some frayed, others snapped entirely. She saw glimpses of other beings, distinct and powerful, each radiating a unique resonance. The star key wasn't just a key, it was a beacon, a map, and a translator, allowing her to perceive the true state of the unraveling universe and sense the others who were destined to help reweave it. The first other was located in the desolate reaches of the Andromeda Arm, on a rogue planetoid known as Ilos. This world was a testament to impossible physics, a vast shard of rock, perpetually caught between two battling gravitational fields, causing its surface to ripple and shift like liquid. Here, the star key pulsed with a steady, strong thrum. Elara found him in a cave carved into the planetoid's unstable crust. Kale dawned. He was a being of quiet strength, his skin a deep iridescent purple, his eyes like polished obsidian. He wore simple, flowing robes woven from an unknown durable fiber. Around him, intricate celestial charts were etched onto the cave walls, depicting cosmic currents and trajectories that defied conventional understanding. He didn't look up as she entered, his gaze fixed on a shimmering projection of starlight on the cave floor. "You have the star key." Kale's voice was a low rumble, resonant with ancient knowledge. "I felt its awakening, and yours, Weaver." Elara felt a thrill of recognition. "You know about the loom?" Kale finally met her gaze, his eyes holding the wisdom of countless millennia. "I have guarded the pathways for cycles beyond reckoning. I am a cartographer of the cosmic flow, a keeper of the forgotten roots. The universe unravels because its currents are disrupted, its paths forgotten. My purpose is to understand the cosmic tides." He gestured to the shimmering projection. "The loom needs navigators, not just menders." He rose, his presence radiating a calm, unwavering resolve. "The star key guided you to me. Where do we go now, Elara?" The star key pulsed, and a new location shimmered into Elara's mind, a vibrant, living world known as Lyra Prime, a planet renowned for its crystalline flora and the harmonic songs of its inhabitants. Kale nodded, understanding the silent command. "Lyra Prime, a world of pure resonance. We will find Lyra there." Dilly Wanderung, now carrying two souls bound by destiny, shifted course. The journey to Lyra Prime was shorter, but no less significant. Kale shared his knowledge of the cosmic currents, teaching Elara to feel the subtle shifts in the universe's fabric, to anticipate gravitational eddies and stellar winds. He was a silent mentor, his wisdom imparted through example and a deep understanding of the universe's intricate dance. Lyra Prime was a breathtaking spectacle. Giant, crystalline trees stretched towards the twin suns, their facets refracting light into a million rainbows. The air hummed with a gentle melodic vibration, the collective song of the planet's flora and fauna. They found Lyra, not in a temple or a hidden cave, but amidst a field of blooming light lilies, her being radiating a joyful, empathetic energy. Lyra was ethereal, her form seemingly woven from pure light, her skin shimmering with iridescent scales. Her eyes, large and luminous, held the depth of ancient oceans and the warmth of a newborn star. As Elara and Kay approached, Lyra turned, a smile gracing her lips. "You have come. I have felt your journey, Elara, the stirring of the loom within you. And Kale, keeper of the pathways, your steady presence is a comfort." Her voice was like wind chimes, soft and melodic. "I am Lyra. My people are attuned to the life energies, the emotional frequencies that bind all living things. The universe unravels not just in its structure, but in its song, in the disharmony that spreads through its very heart. My purpose is to mend the vibrations, to harmonize the cosmic chorus." She reached out, and a wave of pure empathic energy washed over Elara, a profound sense of connection and understanding. The loom needs harmony, not just mending. With Lyra's arrival, the star key hummed with renewed vigor, its light casting a map of cosmic threads that led them to their next companion. This time, the destination was a hyper-advanced asteroid colony, known as the Forge, a marvel of engineering perpetually orbiting a supergent star. Its inhabitants were renowned for their meticulous understanding of cosmic mechanics, and their ability to build and repair anything, from starships to fractured planets. Here, they found Jax. He was a being of compact muscle and sharp intellect, his skin a mottled grey, his multiple eyes constantly scanning his surroundings. Jax moved with the efficiency of a well-oiled machine, his hands equipped with delicate multi-jointed digits, constantly tinkering with intricate devices. They found him deep within the forge, overseeing the repair of a colossal star crane, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Another tear in the fabric," Jax muttered, barely acknowledging their arrival. "Another stress fracture in the quantum lattice. The universe isn't just unraveling, it's collapsing under its own weight. Flawed construction, if you ask me." He finally looked up, his multiple eyes narrowing at the sight of the star key. "So, the legends are true. the loom stirs. And you, Weaver, are its chosen. Elara explained their mission, Lyra adding layers of emotional nuance, Kale providing the cosmic context. Jax listened, his expression pragmatic, but a flicker of something akin to awe, or perhaps grim determination, passed through his eyes. I am Jax. My people are the architects and engineers of the cosmos. We catalogue every structural component, every quantum strut, every energy conduit. The universe unravels because its foundational mechanics are failing, its infrastructure decaying. My purpose is to understand the physics of creation, to reinforce the weakened points, to rebuild what is broken. It is broken. He tapped a complex holographic display, showing intricate schematics of collapsing spacetime. The loom needs structural integrity, not just mending. 4 weavers now. Elara, the heart, the central node, the one who could feel the loom's call. Kale, the navigator, who understood the flow and pathways. Lyra, the harmonizer, who sensed the vibrations and life energies. And Jax, the engineer, who comprehended the mechanics and structure. The star key pulsed with a collective strength, its light now weaving a complex pattern that pointed to their final, most enigmatic companion. Their journey next took them to the heart of a dying star, a vast, ancient red giant known as Solara Prime. This was a place of immense cosmic power, where creation and destruction danced on the edge of oblivion. The star was slowly consuming itself, its core a tempest of raw, untamed energy. No physical being could withstand the forces here for long. They found Seraphina. She was not a physical being in the conventional sense, but an entity of pure, shimmering energy, a consciousness born from the star's dying throes. She manifested as a towering pillar of shifting light and color, her voice a chorus of whispers and roars, like the cosmic winds themselves. I have been waiting. Seraphina's voice resonated through their very bones, a symphony of creation and destruction. For cycles I have watched the unraveling, the slow decay, the subtle shift, the loss of pure creative potential. I am the spark of the infinite, the raw power of genesis and entropy. The universe unravels because its fundamental essence, its very power source, diminishes. My purpose is to manipulate the raw cosmic energy, to understand the cycles of life and death on a grand scale, to reign night. Elara felt an immense surge of energy from Seraphina, a power so vast it was almost overwhelming. It was the power of creation itself, untamed and magnificent. The loom needs ultimate power, not just mending, Seraphina concluded, her light flaring with intensity. All 5 weavers were now assembled: Elara, Kale, Lyra, Jax, and Seraphina. The star key, now fully activated, pulsed with a blinding brilliance, projecting a map not of stars, but of interwoven cosmic threads, some vibrant, some dim, many broken. They saw the true extent of the unraveling. It wasn't a malicious force, nor a single cataclysm. It was a cosmic entropy, accelerated by countless minor disruptions, forgotten breaches in reality, and the slow, inevitable decay of an unimaginably ancient universe. A growing shadow siphon was draining the universe's inherent creative energy, causing the threads to fray. The loom, they now understood, wasn't a machine. It was a nexus, a focal point, where the universe's primordial creative energies converged, a place where reality itself could be consciously rewoven. Each weaver held a thread key, a unique resonance within the loom, a specific frequency of creative energy that, when combined, would allow them to access and manipulate the cosmic tapestry. Elara's star key was the master key, the conductor that would bring their individual frequencies into perfect harmony. Their training began immediately. Kale taught them to perceive the cosmic currents, to feel the universe's ebb and flow. Lyra guided them in harmonizing their internal energies, teaching them to resonate with the life force of the cosmos. Jax meticulously explained the quantum mechanics of reality, showing them how to identify stress points and structural weaknesses in the fabric of spacetime. Seraphina, the most formidable, taught them to channel raw cosmic energy, to project their will and shape reality on a fundamental level. Elara, with the star key, learned to weave these disparate skills into a unified whole, seeing the tapestry not just as a visual, but as a symphony of energy, structure, and life. They practiced by mending small tears in reality, re-establishing broken cosmic pathways, and revitalizing dying nebulae. Each successful act strengthened their bond, honing their collective will. They were no longer just individuals, they were a single harmonious force, 5 threads woven into a potent unified whole. The loom, the star key revealed, resided at the very heart of creation, a cosmic singularity hidden beyond the known boundaries of the universe. It was a place of impossible physics, where space and time warped into a kaleidoscopic vortex, where the original spark of creation still echoed. This was their final destination, the crucible where they would either mend the universe or witness its final silent unraveling. The wandering, now augmented by Jax's engineering prowess and Seraphina's energy projections, became a vessel capable of traversing these impossible realms. Kale navigated the chaotic currents, Lyra shielded them with harmonic fields, and Jax kept the ship's integrity against the immense pressures. Elara, with the star key, guided them forward, her inner compass unwavering. The journey to the heart of creation was a descent into pure wonder and terrifying beauty. They passed through realms of pure light, where stars were born and died in the blink of an eye. They navigated fields of nascent thought, where ideas took on physical form. The shadow siphon, the source of the unraveling, manifested as a creeping void, a growing darkness that sought to consume the light. They pushed through it, their combined will a shield against its entropy. Finally, they arrived. The heart of creation was not a place of solid matter, but a boundless expanse of shimmering light, a nexus where all colors, all sounds, all energies converged into a single, breathtaking symphony. In its center, suspended in an ocean of pure potential, was the loom. It was not a machine, nor a structure, but an infinite swirling vortex of iridescent threads, each one a strand of reality, a possibility, a life. It hummed with a power that resonated with the deepest parts of their souls. The shadow siphon, a gaping maw of nothingness, was actively feeding on these threads, pulling them into oblivion. Elara stepped forward, the star key radiating from her hand. The other weavers gathered around her, their unique energies forming a protective circle. Kale stood firm, his gaze fixed on the cosmic currents flowing into the loom. Lyra extended her hands, her whole being radiating a song of unity and life. Jax meticulously observed the structural integrity of the threads, ready to reinforce. Seraphina, a towering pillar of raw energy, stood as the ultimate power source. Now, Elara whispered, her voice resonating with newfound authority. We weave. She raised the star key. It flared, sending out a pulse of pure light that connected with each weaver. Their thread keys, their unique energetic signatures, activated in response, forming a circuit of power that flowed into Elara, then through the star key, and finally into the loom itself. A wave of pure, creative energy erupted from them. Elara closed her eyes, no longer seeing with her physical sight, but with her soul. She reached into the loom, feeling the frayed edges, the broken strands, the dimming colors. With Kale's guidance, she reconnected the cosmic pathways, redirecting the flow of energy. With Lyra's harmony, she sang the universe back into alignment, repairing the dissonant vibrations. With Jax's precision, she reinforced the weakened structural integrity, rebuilding the quantum lattice. And with Seraphina's raw power, she reignited the dying embers of creation, pouring fresh, vibrant energy into the fading threads. It was an act of profound collective will. Their minds merged, their hearts beat as one. They weren't just mending, they were creating anew, breathing life back into the universe, thread by shimmering thread. The shadow siphon recoiled, its insatiable hunger diminished by the surge of creation. The unraveling slowed, then stopped. The loom pulsed with renewed vigor, its threads shining with vibrant, healthy light. When it was done, a profound sense of peace settled over them. The universe hummed with a vibrant, sustained note of renewed life. The loom, though forever changing, was stable. The shadow siphon was not eradicated, for entropy was a natural force, but it was contained, its influence greatly diminished. Elara opened her eyes. The star key gently faded from her hand, its purpose fulfilled, its power now integrated into her very being. Kale offered a rare, knowing smile. Lyra's face glowed with pure joy. Jax nodded, his pragmatic eyes holding a hint of wonder. Seraphina pulsed with a steady, magnificent light, her power now harmonized with the new cosmic order. Their journey was complete, yet it was also just beginning. The universe would always need guardians, always need menders, always need those who listen to the whispers of the loom. They had rewoven the cosmic tapestry, not just for their generation, but for all generations to come, ensuring the continuity of wonder, of life, of dreams. Elara looked out at the newly vibrant cosmos, a masterpiece of interwoven starlight and possibility. She knew her days of quiet life were over, but a new, grander purpose had found her. She was a weaver, a guardian of the cosmic threads, forever connected to the boundless wonder of the universe. And as she gazed upon the infinite, shimmering expanse, a gentle smile touched her lips. The universe was safe. The loom was humming. And in her heart, a new, everlasting sense of peace had finally taken root. The stars, she realized, were not just distant lights, they were the threads of a story, forever being spun, forever unfolding, and now more beautiful than ever before.